little 67 GTO on a perfect day.
Weather's perfect.
Grab onto that, hold on. There we go, it's a little thrilling. Hi, I'm Lou, another episode of My Car Story. I'm here with Terry. Terry, what's your last name?
Weiner.
And Terry's done a few cars of his, and today we're going to see, tell me a little bit about what we're going to see today.
Well, we're going to see a 1967 Pontiac GTO. It's been in the family since 1966. Car was built December 15th, 1966.
Now, how has it been in the family since 1966?
Well, my dad ordered it from the dealership. In fact, as a youngster, I actually went to the dealership with him to order it, and I was there when he went to go pick it up.
And you said your dad used to call him Peppy.
Well,
it was like a car with pep.
Yes.
Okay.
We call it horsepower, but he called it pep.
Hey, that's 67.
And being, actually living across the street from a Pontiac dealership, that really helped too.
Not too bad. I'll grab the camera as I usually do. Terry, stay with me for a moment. I got a few more questions for you before we let you out of here. So we're going to see the car, which is actually in the background right now. Tell me, how many cars did your dad own that were GTOs?
He had 4. Started off in 1964, had a 65, this 67, and a 1970.
And what did this car was destined for the scrapyard? What happened?
Well, it had seen its better days. Being a Chicago car, the rust did get to it. And one of the things that I had always wanted to do was to bring it back to its original condition. And I was able to do that in the late 2000s up and finish the car in 2006.
And when you finally brought it back, share with some people. I know you're a humble guy, but share with them. First of all, you've got a little Pontiac. Tell us about your Pontiac background. You director of, tell me about that.
No, I've been a member of the GTO Association of America since the early 80s.
Yep.
And because I've had a car in my possession for all these years, they asked me to be one of the technical advisors for the club. So being a technical advisor, I was able to accumulate a lot of information by judging at the national events, going to car shows, reading books, hanging around with a lot of educated people on these cars. I was able to put the car back together, what I call over the top.
Over the top. So over the top in 2010, you're at the GTO club. Tell me what that club was.
Well, it was an annual convention in Wichita, Kansas, and I was able to win the Best of Show award.
Best of Show. Let's go right to our featured event. Wow. That's spectacular. So, I mean, we're looking at 67. I'm going to move in on some of the featured pieces here. Terry, come on with me.
Sure, you're looking at Signet Gold. That's the color of the car. A very popular color back in the day.
You know, I always liked the 67's grill with that metal kind of mesh fencing, you know, showing the engine, and the big feature back then was a tiger coming out of the hood back in 64. Jim Wangers kind of created that idea and putting a big engine in a mid-sized car. The very subtle, wonderful hood scoop. We've got great sun on your car today. So let's take an overall look at the side of the car. That's just fantastic.
The car has a couple of additions since when it was new. We did add the Rally 2 wheels.
Let's take a look at it. Come on with. Go ahead.
The one of the other options that was added was a hood tack, which was a dealer installed option in 1967. You ordered it from the factory, but the dealer actually put it on for you.
So we're going to feature that here in just a second. Mirrors. You know, one thing about the GTO too that I remember, especially in 67, pretty flat windshield. I mean,
yeah, it's a piece of flat glass.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you'd have big curves and things like that. I'm going to utilize that.
Now, this being the family vehicle, it didn't have a lot of performance options. Again, this was our family vehicle in the late 60s.
Your dad was driving the family driver. The all-important.
And as a kid in high school, this was the car that I got to drive in high school, and I guess that was pretty cool.
Love the roof line there where the comes back right inside the windshield there, giving it that. And just for clarity, I see the optional rear defogger there.
Which was needed in the Chicago winters.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Let's take a look at it from here. Kind of a Coke bottle-like width to it.
Rear quarters are very huge.
Get that sun out of there.
You get the fly out of there too.
That's okay. He can't help himself. The reverse lights, the dual exhaust.
Yeah, this is the standard 400 cubic inch engine, 335 horsepower, automatic transmission.
Were there many options on the engine back in this time frame?
Yeah, they had an HO option
Okay.
and a Ram Air option.
Oh really? For a 67?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Let me take a look at the overall side of the car this way.
Some of these options did not come out until later in the year, so you didn't see them in the brochure.
Let me just catch that little GM badge there on the door. And your overall door. There. Always enjoyed the GTO tag in the door. The build. The interior's immaculate. Back seats. The console up the center, as you can see.
Wood grain on the dash, wood grain on the console. The tape deck has the wood grain. The heater controls have the wood grain. You got controls on the console for the power antenna and the rear defogger. That's the original miles on the car.
Wow. I'm going to actually just make this easy. I'm going to do this with the camera. There we go.
First year for the energy absorbing steering wheel.
Oh, really?
And first year for the 3-speed automatic.
Also, you were telling me about this tape deck.
Tape deck. First year for tape decks for General Motors cars.
The
I think
8-track.
I think it finishes off the interior quite nicely.
Yeah, actually it does. And that looks... I love the little grab hold bar there, too. Let's take a look under the hood.
Sure.
We got the sun the right direction this time.
The chrome valve covers and the air cleaner, that was stock for the GTO 400 that year. It's got power brakes, power steering. And Lou, that's the original upper radiator hose on that car.
Really?
That hose is almost 50 years old.
Wow. Got the original markings on it. I'm noticing you got all the original markings on the back there.
You're talking paint dabs, inspection marks, chalk marks, stickers, and rubber stamps. All have been duplicated.
Got that right down there. That's just... There's the body build on it. You're looking at an award-winning GTO. For those of you who love GTOs, and I definitely enjoy GTOs, this is the top of the ladder. This is just, as you said, over the top. Let's start her.
Sure.
I love the Delco battery, all perfect like that. Let's set it down. We got the perfect day with the perfect GTO. Terry, I can't be happier. Thanks for being on My Car Story.
You're very welcome, Lou.
How does that look? Some of the best parts of doing the My Car Story with Lou is this part right here. Terry,
Hi,
good
Lou.
to see you.
Hello.
And part of the benefits of being on My Car Story is we get to ride in them once in a while. So let's take her out. When's the last time you had her out?
It's been mostly trailer traffic, up and down a trailer.
So it's time for a ride.
Right.
And I'm going to get you on tape so you can watch yourself drive it for a change. So Terry, you got to be happy driving this because this car was originally whose car?
It's my dad's car. He bought it brand new in December 1966.
Brand spanking new. How cool was that? You said you got to drive this as a teenager.
Yeah, I was 15 when the car was new, so when I turned 16, this is the car they learned to drive on.
How awesome is that? And you were getting the chance to drive this, and your dad, you said, had a couple of GTOs. There was a Pontiac dealer across the street.
Right. It was called Peter F. Pontiac, and he fell in love with the 64 GTO in the showroom, and actually got accordioned on the Eden Expressway in 65.
Oh,
so
no.
he bought a 65, okay, and turned the 64 in, and then 2 years later sold the 65 and bought this 67. Kept the 67, and in 1970, since we now had 3 kids driving, we needed that third car, so the third car wound up being a 1970 GTO.
So with all these GTOs, how does it feel being back behind your baby?
Oh, it feels like no time has passed. Okay, a little touchy with the power drum brakes instead of the disc brakes that you get these days, and I guess we're stuck in a little construction traffic right now. But
Yeah.
it's like no time has passed. You know, you get used to it.
Super smooth. I mean, it's idling at 800, and it is wonderful.
Yeah, it, like you say, it was more of a family car than it was a performance car, but it had that performance when you needed it.
Yeah. What's the was the reaction like it was then, like it is now? I mean, now people pretty much fall over when they see this thing.
Yeah, you get the looks, you get the thumbs up.
Sounds good.
Runs great.
Yeah, runs perfect.
Of course, this car really hasn't been up to operating temperature since it was restored, so this is almost a first.
Yeah, this is a first. This is an exclusive for you, and that's why I said let's get this on camera. If I can convince you to go get some gas in it, and it's been trailered the whole time, this is a big moment for Terry. So I know that. So
Yeah, the guys in the club make fun of me because I don't drive it. They never see the car. I actually take it out once a year.
this is evidence for them.
For the Cruisin' Tigers have a annual GTO and Pontiac show in Pheasant Run here in Illinois, early August. And it's nice to know every time I get in the car that it still starts and it still runs.
Yeah, right.
After not doing any driving or running for 12 months prior.
It is doing great, and just so those guys in the club know, we are clearly in drive. So,
And we're doing close to 50 miles an hour.
nice.
Not sure what the speed limit is, but we're doing 50.
Yeah, pretty close. A rural road. I'm sure we're within regulations. Legal speed limit here. Well, Terry, I got to say too, it's a real treat to jump in your GTO and to enjoy this moment with you, because I know that this is unique for you and it's unique for me, and people just don't get the chance to see a car like this generally. And it's a lot of fun, so that's really kind of a neat thing. There we go, it's a little thrilling.
car has the reproduction F70 14 Redline radials.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Redline wide ovals, not radials. If the car had radials, it would ride much smoother. But these reproductions, the ride is something that we forgot about back in the 60s. It just didn't ride that well.
Yeah.
It seems pretty good.
Yeah.
But I kept trying to keep the car as original as possible, and it had to have the Firestone wide ovals on there. It just had to have it.
You know, the fact that your dad had this car from new, and he'd be so proud of what you've done with it, because he'd be amazed. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic.
I know you didn't get a chance to see the underside, but I'm pretty proud of the underside of the car too. It's just done, I consider, as nice or even nicer than the top. Every detail was looked at and made sure that it was the best that it could be.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it brings back some memories for me too, but back in the teenage years, a guy in the neighborhood, Don Elliott, had a 66 GTO, and I remember this dashboard was pretty much the same. We didn't have the 8-track player because you said that was an option in 67. That looks fantastic. I mean, I want to just feature that again. I mean, that's a unique piece right there. You're just not going to see that.
It does work. The issue now becomes finding 8-track tapes. Perfect day to drive with the windows down.
Oh, yeah.
The air conditioning was just starting to get popular back in the late 60s, and most cars did not have air conditioning. Of course, most of the performance cars didn't have air conditioning, so a day like this with windows open is just fantastic.
Yeah, this is as good as it gets.
Side vent windows, you can open those up for more of a breeze.
Side windows. Okay, push out like so. Hey Terry, thanks for being on My Car Story and letting us drive in your 67 GTO. Perfect condition.
Very welcome. Thanks, Lou.